Hey everybody, we have an exciting one for you today. This is very bad and I had to get it out to you right away, as factories burn throughout the United States and elsewhere and the supply chain is purposely shut down. Bill Gates is buying more farmland and it caused a recent lawsuit in North Dakota. And as this Gateway article says, China and billionaire Bill Gates just purchased huge parcels of farmland in North Dakota near an airbase. Why is that? Before we even get into it, I think it's pretty clear at this point that they're readying the camps. They're readying the FEMA camps. They're readying the property to create mRNA and GMO food for the food rations to come, which definitely will be coming very soon, my friends, because they are collapsing the supply chain. The Emergency Planning Act Section 18 and 18.1, which clearly goes into the fact that they now can do food price fixing. It says right here, procure fixed prices for food, clothing, fuel equipment, medical supplies, or other essential supplies, and the use of any property, services, resources, equipment within any part of Saskatchewan during an emergency period, which they can dictate anything as an emergency period. And I find this extremely important to understand very soon. Like we are walking into the social credit, technocratic, super state of the world as a big new Brzezinski dreamed of when he created the Trilateral Commission. They are collapsing the supply chain. They're killing off livestock. They're purposely stopping gas from getting to gas stations, which is leaving a lot of gas stations and causing prices to skyrocket, so they could come in with carbon credits and all these crazy things to be able to drive on the highways. It says Bill Gates, carbon credits, the coming climate lockdown, and the Great Reset highway restrictions as they're getting ready for all of that. And of course, Bill Gates is not new to buying farmland. He's been buying up rail lines for years. I remember first reporting on a story in 2013 of him buying into CN Rail. The idea is now that he owns more farmland than anyone else in the United States. First of all, he's not doing much with much of that property for a reason, and on top of that, it's to eventually create the induced plants that are going to cause a huge eugenics issue. And of course, being next to the military bases, I wonder why that is. All the while, Amazon is buying up massive industrial land holdings across the US, even as it reduces warehouse square footage. What are they planning? Natural News asks if they're planning to build camps. They're planning to build FEMA camps, my friends, and they are getting ready for the new world. Or they're getting ready for the Great Reset. And today we're gonna go into, and much, much more. But before we do, my friends, as I always say, make sure to subscribe because we post a lot. Very soon you will not be able to get things delivered to your house. UPS is stopping people from having gun contracts now through them, etc. They are already going for the social credit line of stopping you from being able to get anything to your house, unless you're a good compliant citizen. China and billionaire Bill Gates just purchased huge parcels of farmland in North Dakota near a US airbase. Why is that? Why is China working with Bill Gates? Why is North Dakota allowing billionaire Bill Gates and China to buy huge parcels of farmland in their state, near a US airbase that houses sensitive drone technology? A Chinese company paid $2.6 million for 300 acres of farmland in Grand Forks, North Dakota. The parcel of land's location is near a U.S. Air Force base that houses sensitive drone technology, and has lawmakers in Capitol Hill worried about potential ESP espionage by Beijing. According to reports, I think there's even worse things to worry about than that. A Shandong, China-based company that specializes in flavor enhancers and sugar substitutes, oh, great poison, to start off your diet and slowly kill you, just recently purchased the North Dakota farmland. As it says, and I quote, Grand Forks is also 40 miles away from Grafton, North Dakota. I've been there as well. We're a limited liability company believed to be controlled by billionaire philanthropist Bill Gates recently paid $13 million for thousands of acres of potato farmland. What we know, he owns it. We know he does. And there's literally been a lawsuit surrounding this for the last couple weeks with the Attorney General in North Dakota calling it out. Says others reported on this story as well. What is going on in North Dakota? Same day, same states. Where's our media combine and do anything more to help China? This person, Pelosi's hangover on Twitter, says if we had media in the country that they would be reporting that China just bought 300 acres of farmland in North Dakota next to Bill Gates and Monstrosity Farm, which are both next to a secret U.S. Air Force base. Why are we letting billionaires and the Chinese buy our farmland? Good question, because it's a control collapse and China is propped up as the guinea pig state for technology for a long time. We'll go into that later. We reported previously that Bill Gates is now the largest landowner and largest farm landowner in the country. China no doubt wants information on U.S. drones and is happy to own land of the U.S. I'm sure the U.S. is happily handing over any of the things that they have, any of the issue or the information they have on drones to the Chinese America by creeps and communists has to stop. Okay, at the same time we have Amazon buying a massive industrial land holdings across the U.S., even as it reduces warehouse square footage. What are they planning? As you may have heard, e-commerce giant Amazon has had to drastically scale back its warehouse square footage in recent months due to labor and energy cost increases. Why then is the company simultaneously gobbling up land all across the country in key markets? One of the company's most recent purchases was 193 acres of land located just outside of Round Rock, Texas, near Austin. Texas lenient land use laws mean that Amazon can use this massive parcel for whatever it wishes. So what is on the agenda? According to reports, Amazon's land accumulation endeavors started about 3 years ago. The Seattle-based retail predator quietly started searching for land in Southern California, Texas, Illinois, Florida, and the Bay Area. Since that time, the company has just about tripled the amount of industrial space it owns in North America. Well, it says between 2020 and 2022, Amazon acquired some 4,000 acres of bare land, says real estate researcher CoStar Group, Inc. Some of its land will probably be used for new fulfillment centers. For the rest of what the company has planned remains unclear. And quote, buying land is a major shift for Amazon, which historically relied on a handful of developers to find property, build fairly simple warehouses, and rent them back to the company's report supply chain. Now, Amazon is increasingly taking parts of the development process in-house, often bidding against longtime partners for the best space. This is insane for multiple reasons. Of course, they have their facilities in Wuhan. Yeah, they go into it further, but the idea is they're going into the grocery business, and like deeply into the grocery business, especially since the pandemic, because they work with the Chinese government. They work with all these entities, as does Bill Gates, as does Spaulding, as do all these people, the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, and they're creating this alliance with China. Remember, this goes back a long time. US stopped Japan in their war against China, which had killed 50 million people at that time, and stopped Japan, and through Japan's war made them surrender to create an artificial alliance with China at a time of starvation in China, when the government was about to collapse to save the government, essentially, and that led into the creation of the Trilateral Commission by the beginning President Xi to create what he called a global technocratic superstate, which then ties China to the head of the New World Order and cashless currency system, and eventually social credit, which we all saw take place. And now they're going into buying up farmland with Bill Gates, and Amazon is buying up farmland. But Amazon's buying a warehouse space. Amazon is doing all these things to create a dependence for the future food rationing crisis, which will be based on the control collapses, a supply chain, which they are purposely doing. They're losing money now to gain power later. This is the agenda, and again, it also has to do with carbon credits as Bill Gates builds these highways, and all the while we see them purposely causing crisis on the highways, kicking into high gear record. 42 million drivers will hit America's highways on July 4th weekend, and it's causing huge congestion all the while. Nearly 8,000 flights delayed on Friday as July 4th weekend. The Liberty Advisor was on his way. He had to stop in Washington, D.C. on his way to New York, and on his way over, his flight from Washington due to New York City, or I believe was New York City, got canceled. And seriously, imagine being stuck in Washington, D.C. I feel for him, but anyway. Why are all these flights being canceled if there's enough people who want to be on it? One, pilots are dropping dead. They laid off a bunch of them. Also helps to destroy the supply chain by doing that. They also are purposely controlling the supply chain, burning down factories, planes crashing into factories, killing livestock farmers, being forced to kill off livestock and destroy their crops. So again, it's a controlled collapse. It's meant to be. It's meant to be, my friends. And meanwhile, Idiot Biden's attack on gas station owners. Government makes nearly 5 times as much per gallon on taxes than gas station owners do in profit. Just totally insane. And this is all part of the economic world order that's being purposely created. The US is purposely destroying their own empire to create a new one. It's been in the playbooks for many decades. I appreciate everyone watching today, and hit the like button, share on social media, hit the notification bell, and hit the subscribe button. Until next time, find the truth, be the change,